Welcome everyone to today's Cultivating Success webinar. We're really excited that you're joining us for this marketing webinar talking about strategies to reach your customers online. The Cultivating Success program was established in 2000 by University of Idaho Extension, the nonprofit organization Rural Roots, and Washington State University's Extension program, and has now transferred into their food systems program. So we really appreciate the support that we have from Extension and from Rural Roots over the years. And this is our third year of doing our webinar series. So we're really glad that you could participate. And we're going to be showing you at the end of the webinar where you can find the recording of this program and our past programs. I'm super excited today to have Emily Black speaking. Emily is a farmer and a business coach. She's located in North Idaho. Marketing is her professional background, and she's been applying that to their farm business at Lone Mountain Farms. And she also has a consulting business where she works with farmers called Cultivating Your Market, which she'll be talking about. I'm Colette D. Phelps. I'll be your facilitator today. I'm with University of Idaho Extension, and I'm located on the Moscow campus. Also with us today is Mackenzie Lawrence, who you have received emails from, in particular, the handouts for today's webinar. And Mackenzie is going to be helping with any technical challenges that may occur during this webinar. For your own experience, it could be helpful to close the other programs that are running on your computer, specifically those that take Wi-Fi bandwidth. If at any time you're having any trouble with your sound, you can call in like Emily did, and that call-in number is provided in your welcome email. Just go ahead and type in the chat if you're wanting to switch to the phone, and Mackenzie can walk you through that process. In your control bar at the bottom of your screen on most devices is a Q&A box. It'll be really helpful if you can type questions for Emily into that Q&A box instead of the chat. So a little easier for us to follow along. But of course, feel free to have some conversation or to introduce yourself in the chat at any time throughout the webinar. We are going to pause after each one of the 4 strategies to ask questions. So please feel free to type those questions in as they come up. We will have the handouts available on the Cultivating Success website of the slides. However, those were emailed to you by Mackenzie about a half an hour ago. So if you registered within this last half hour, you'll be able to get those from the webinar recording site, which I will again show you at the end of today's webinar. So with that, Emily, thank you for joining us today. And I'm so excited to learn about how to raise the visibility of our farm and ranch businesses online.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I am definitely really excited to be here today and talk about getting the farm online. That's definitely a huge strategy in marketing your farm. It is just one piece of the whole puzzle. So this is not the end all to your marketing, but getting online in front of your customers is a huge opportunity because everybody's really online, and getting in front of them is really important to grow your business. So before we get into too much detail here, I wanted to do just a little overview on marketing. So, getting online, there's a couple different steps to think about when you're getting online. And with those, there's the attract. So how are you going to get in front of new people who have no idea about who you are and get them to engage with you and think about you, and then move into the nurture stage of building trust? Where are they going to find that information on who you are, what you offer, and how they can get it? So that nurture process, and then once they are a customer, how can you keep them as a customer and retain them and keep them coming back? So these are kind of the 3 principles. I'm going to touch on these throughout those 4 strategies. So we're going to just kind of bring it all back to our marketing principles and how we are spending our time and making sure we're doing the right actions for the purpose of our energies. There's only so much time in the day, so we want to make sure that we're doing what's going to impact our businesses the most. So talking about online a little bit, we are in a little new climate here. So with our whole COVID society, it's been, I think, over a year since the first case came to the U.S. We're kind of in a new realm, and it's really changed the behaviors of our customers. There's been this study with e-commerce that there's been a 5-year growth in only 6 months. So people have really been forced to buy online, shop, research, do webinars. Like, we're all going online so much more than we have in the past. So I wanted to just give that as a perspective of like, yes, online is a huge opportunity, especially now with our new behaviors, our new habits that we're getting into. 27% of consumers say they rely more on grocery shopping online than they did before COVID. So people aren't just going online for things, clothes, toilet paper. They're wanting to do the whole grocery shopping experience online. So they're looking for food. In a lot of cases, they're looking for local food because our grocery stores have proved that distribution isn't always accessible, and we can't always get what we thought we could. So times have changed, and I think that's a good educational thing for local food. 22% of consumers say they rely more on a small footprint store to avoid crowds than before COVID. And, I think that a lot of this, we have switched our habits to do these things. So instead of, okay, well, COVID's over, we're going to go back to the normal, I think a lot of our habits are going to stay, ordering online and getting delivery. Okay, well, that's so much easier than going to 5 stores to trying to find that thing that I needed. So we have these new habits, and I don't think that they're going to be going away. So think about these as new opportunities for you, your farm, and how you sell. Alrighty, well, let's dive into those 4 strategies to reach your customers online. First, we're going to talk about a website and how you can utilize that as your online presence. Creating a social media plan, utilizing third-party sites, and then Google My Business. So these are the 4 strategies that I'm going to be talking about today for you to create that online presence and kind of be everywhere when people are looking for you. All right, let's dive into the website. So why do a website? Well, this is your home online. This is your opportunity to set up shop online. This is like your storefront. You have control over the design, over the experience, over all of the content. So this is your opportunity to control how people experience you and the information that they're wanting. So there's a couple different things to think about on your website. So whether you have one or you're going to have one, think through these, and you can update or create this when you're getting the website going. So design it well. This is the first experience typically that people have with you is online website. Once they hit your website, does it look like you? Does it feel like you? Is it does it present your information in a way that people can digest it? Is it easy to navigate? Can they find what they're looking for? Or does it look spammy and they're off in 2 seconds because it's information overload or they can't find what they're looking for? I'm sure you've had those experiences of going to a website that you did not feel welcomed into and you're out. So think about that design and how you want to present your farm. And then tell your story. People connect with stories, and that is a huge part of marketing, is connecting with your customer, bringing them into your journey, and building that trust with them. There's a lot of kind of different stories when it comes to local food or big egg. So tell your story, your heart behind it, your practices, and the things that your customers care about and are looking for. And then share, of course, what you actually produce. What are your products? What do you offer? What are the benefits? And some people like to just skim a website. So they're going to just do these high-level points. There's other personalities that like a lot of detail. So think about that design and how can you make it very readable for people to just skim, and then how can you have the deeper details for those people who need all of the details. Once somebody's on your website, it's also a good opportunity to ask for their email address so you can keep the conversation going like through email marketing. The opportunity of like connecting with somebody is pretty sparse. So when you do have that, when they're engaged on your website, they're excited about what you're doing, they want what you have, but they're not quite ready to purchase. How can you keep that relationship going, build that trust with them? So think about that when you're doing the website. Give the opportunity for somebody to give you their email address so they can be part of that conversation and keep learning about you through your email campaign. And then, of course, make the sale on the website. So this is like an online retail shop. So if they can make the sale, make it easy for them. If you aren't able to sell online, if your product doesn't accommodate that, just be very clear on how they can purchase. Do they need to email you, have a contact form on there with the right questions that you need from them? But if they are ready to purchase, how can you capture that on the website and make it as easy as possible for that consumer to purchase from you? So those are the things to think about with the website and having that online presence there. If you don't have a website yet or a shopping cart, let's talk about how to actually do that. My first recommendation is Square's online store. Square is a payment processor. If you haven't heard of them or if you're not using them yet, that is actually my #1 recommendation for payment processing. So I heard a stat that 93% of transactions last year were all digital. So people were only using their credit cards. They were not using cash. So that's a big opportunity for your farm as well to open up credit card processing if you don't have that yet. So I would recommend Square. They have a lot of different inventory options, and it's a great platform. I just can't say enough about it. You can do it online, physical locations, and I track all of my transactions, whether it's credit cards or cash, through that same platform to track all of my sales. So great platform. And then they have this online store. So I use this, and I've actually set up websites for other farmers using this platform, and it's so easy, and it integrates with your inventory already. You can make it look like a beautiful website, or you can make it feel more like a shopping cart. So it's versatile in how you want to set it up, but it's really easy, and then it just all plugs and plays with your current sales process, and it's golden. If you want something a little bit more complex, where you get into more custom design and so forth, I would recommend Wix. They give you some templates to start out with, and then they really let you mess it up pretty good. So just keep it along with the template, or if you have a good design eye, you'll know what to do there. But Wix gives you a lot more customization. So those are my 2 recommendations. There's a million out there, but if you're looking for 2, those would be mine. Okay. So let's bring this back to those 3 principles with marketing. So our website. Are we attracting customers with our website? Well, we can through search engine results. So when somebody's on Google and they're looking for, how to make flower arrangements last longer. Maybe you have a blog post, maybe you talk about that on your website, and then Google is crawling, looking for these informational tidbits, and then bringing up your website in these results. So that does take time, and it takes content on your website in order for Google to find that search result. But it is a possibility to show up on Google through search. So that would just be, somebody who's not necessarily looking for your brand, but searching for something that you have value on. I think a website is really, the sweet spot is the nurture. So somebody heard about you from the farmer's market, or they drove by your farm and saw your sign, or there's a brochure or social media. So there's a lot of different avenues that can be pointing to your logo, your brand, and they search for you on Google and they find you. They're looking for your name, and they're looking for who you are, what you offer, and what you're about. So the nurture stage is kind of the sweet spot. Most people on our site are new. Only about 25% of people are returning. So the nurture is a really good place to think about when you're putting your website together. Think about the new person coming on. How can you tell your story, show the benefits and products, and get their email address so you can keep that relationship going. And then retain. We do have a spot on our website for recipes. I wanted just a place to hold information, valuable information, where my customers could come back to and learn more about how to use the product. And this is a great opportunity to share, once you have a new recipe on the website, share that on social, put it in an email to bring those people back to the website, because most likely they're not checking your website every week, but they are on those other platforms and you can direct them back. And the point of having recipes and other information is really to keep them happy, keep them using your product, and be top of mind when they're ready to buy from you again. So those are kind of the main action items there, and the reason to have a website on your for your farm. Okay, so let's open it up for some questions. And
We
do you
do
want to
have,
read them?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and read them to you. And so Maureen asks, how can small producers offer delivery and make money?
Yeah, I mean, delivery is a great opportunity. Charge for delivery. So your time is not free, your gas is not free, and either incorporate that into the product price. So if you have a CSA, increase the product price. I mean, minimum $5, but that is if you have a lot of people on a delivery route, it can cost $5 per delivery. So if it's under 10 people that you're delivering to, I would do $10 maybe for a delivery fee. Unfortunately, Amazon is kind of positioned everything as free delivery and so forth, but yeah, incorporate it into your price if people don't want to pay for the delivery. So yeah, you can definitely do it, just charge for it.
Emily, I'm wondering if perhaps there would be some market analysis that Maureen could do to look at grocery stores or restaurants and what their delivery charges are to get a feel for
Mm-hmm.
what the community might bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a really good idea.
Another question is, can you use Square with Etsy?
I don't know. I don't know. I would assume that Etsy has a structured payment within their platform already, but you'll have to check that out. I haven't used Etsy.
Okay, thanks, Emily. And then I think this last question might be something that you're talking about in the next session or section of your presentation. How important is Instagram?
Yep, I will get to it, and I will tell you whether it's important or not.
Okay, perfect. So
Cool.
those are the questions that we've had so far. So again, anyone can type in questions at any time. I look forward to knowing how important Instagram is.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get there because social media is next. Okay. So social media is definitely kind of the next stage. So you have your website, and now you want to tell people about your website. You want to direct people back to your blog. You know, they're not checking your website, but they are checking their social media. So this is definitely a good platform to think about. It's interactive, it's timely, it's that relationship building kind of opportunity. Not everybody uses it for that, but that's what it's for, to be social and to have that engagement with your customers and potential customers. So the two platforms that I'm going to talk about a little bit here is Instagram and Facebook. So you can be on both. You can be on one. You can be on none. I think they're both really important, and different people are on different platforms. They see different things. They're on there different times. They engage with them differently. So each one has a separate opportunity for you. It's not like, oh, well, I'm on Facebook, so everybody's already seeing my stuff. I don't need to be on Instagram. Instagram offers different tools that you can use that will amplify your posts and what you're sharing. So they're both important in my mind. I know there's a lot of pushback. I don't know. I specifically hear it about Facebook. You know, people want to get off Facebook and all that kind of stuff. You know, this is your marketing. This is whatever you want to do. So this is your choice, but there's opportunity on both. And if you use this as a tool for your business and not let it get like emotional and political and so forth, maybe it's not as bad. So if you get onto these platforms to use them for your business, it's a different mindset, it's a different mission, and maybe you'll want to be on them more. I don't know, but there's a little 2 cents. So on each platform, you'll need to have like your social media plan. What are you posting? What are you talking about? So you want to identify your story. And social media is kind of the perfect place to share your story and engage with people, build that emotional connection and relationship. So I start out by identifying 3 to 5 topics that make up my farm story. And I do this because it really brings me back to what should I be posting? Should I be posting about something that's happening on the farm or that happened to my kid or political or like what I'm thinking about that day? This just kind of brings it back. So what are the 3 to 5 topics that make up your farm story? In our case, we do farm craft beer, we do produce, we do flour, and like chicken eggs. So those are kind of the main topics that we're going to be talking about. And that's really the core. I'm not going to be talking about things that aren't part of the farm because that's not our story. I have seen farms get very personal on their farm Facebook pages. And if that's who you are and that's your story and that's the brand that you want to share, great. Just make sure that that's on point and you're doing it intentionally. Because this is your business. You do have an image and a brand that you are creating by all the things that you're posting on social media. So you're building a story for your audience to follow. So again, everything kind of plays on each other. Like, what are those topics? How can you keep it kind of fresh and that story be cohesive for your audience to follow and understand what you do? You can talk about those over and over and over in different ways for your audience to follow. Keep your focus on what your customers want to see. Again, your customers are coming to you for something, for local produce or local meats or grass-fed. Like, they're coming to you for a reason, and how can you serve them, give them value along those lines? Bring your audience along with you in your journey. So this farm thing is a journey. It is a lifestyle. It's like the public has romanticized farming, and they eat it up. They eat everything up. So even if you feel like, okay, this is what I do every day, this doesn't mean anything, people love it. They want to see all of the things that you're doing, and it's okay to share the not so fun things. It's good to bring them along the emotional journey of farming as well, to connect with you and the products that you're offering. So bring them along the journey, and that will help figure out what to post as well. So kind of use this as your go-to guide when you're wondering what to post. Go back to those topics. What do your customers want? What do they need? Maybe they need a reference on how to store carrots for the next 3 months. And, oh, you've got 25-pound bags of carrots that you're selling. So give them value, give them a reason to be purchasing from you, and bring them along that journey with you. So that's kind of the idea behind social, is to make a plan and make sure that you're following that and being consistent with that on whichever platform or all platforms that you're on. I have these set up for two, Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook and Instagram are different in the attract stage. So with Facebook, you can share posts. Instagram, you're not able to as easily, but you are able to share posts. So if your customers or the audience is sharing something that you've posted, you're getting in front of their audience, and your brand awareness is reaching new people that you were not going to be reaching initially. So that's a really good opportunity to have content that's shareable. Commenting and posting in Facebook groups. So Facebook groups, Facebook is really focusing on community and trying to build community and relationships. So this is a great opportunity for you. You can typically join them with your business account or with your personal, so either way. Really engaging in the community, being a part of the community by commenting, giving good resources, and then you can also post your valuable products and information as well without being spammy. And then advertising. So Facebook has a huge advertising platform, and they enable you to be very specific with that targeting. And you get all of these analytics, you know exactly where your money is going versus like an ad in a newspaper where you have no idea how many people saw it or clicked on it or were interested. So advertising on Facebook and Instagram is very targeted, very easy to use, and will get you in front of lots of new people. All right, so for the nurture, again, it's kind of the thing that I'm reiterating. It's telling your story. What is your story? What is that farm journey that you're on? And how can you relate that to people and bring them in and include them in that journey? Asking questions is a really good one. So if you're wondering what to grow this year, just have a couple different things going on and ask them between two, which one would they like. So make it super simple, make it super easy for them to answer your question and be engaged, because Facebook likes commenting and that engagement. So it's definitely an opportunity to use Facebook for its algorithms and building that engagement. And then be social. So make sure to reply to everybody's comments on your posts, and just use it as a social platform and not just an advertising, posting, talking at people instead of with people. So make sure you're being social there. For the retention, this is another good platform. A lot of our customers follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So this is kind of the announcement, like, hey, we've got a new beer out. Hey, we've got a new event going on. Hey, we're going to be at the farmer's market. So this is a good place to let them know what to come back for, what's new, what's going on. So share what's available, new products, and ways to use those products to support them and stay top of mind so they think of you when they're ready to be purchasing next. So Instagram, the change here is really the attract, and you can use hashtags. Facebook, you can use hashtags too, but the searchability, the discoverability isn't set up the same. It's really clunky on Facebook, where Instagram, the whole back end is really set up for hashtags. So if you use hashtags, you can show up in a lot of other people's pages, whether they're searching for you or they're following a specific hashtag, you're showing up in their feed. So there's good opportunity with that. One of my strategies is to put like 3 hashtags at the bottom of my post and then post it. And then those go into circulation like that second. And then I also have a note, a little notepad thing on my phone with other common hashtags that I use. You can put up to 30 in a post or in a comment. So I'll copy those, get into the comments, put more hashtags in the comments so that is not cluttering up the post. But they do have to be relevant to the picture. I put the location in there and that kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy behind it. There's a lot of different trainings on it. So you can look that up, but use some hashtags. They're definitely a great attract strategy. With Instagram, you're not able to share quite as much. You are able to share a post to your own story. So that kind of circulates a post. I share a lot of like quotes and that kind of stuff for my Cultivating Your Market audience. But for my farm, I haven't found a whole lot that I want to be sharing to my audience. So that's kind of a hit and miss if people are sharing a post to stories. But what does really work is if you are collaborating with somebody or working with another business to do a story, post up a picture or a video, and then tag that other company in your in that story. And then Instagram will send them a direct message to share it. So Instagram is really encouraging sharing stories and being able to have that business share your post, and then it's in front of all of their audience, which is a really good thing. So if you can do collaborations and share each other's stories, that's a really good thing to bring awareness. But that's about it for stories. Stories are pretty much only in front of your current audience and not a good reach. Unless you're doing advertising, you can do story advertising. Commenting and interacting is just another thing. So if you are searching for hashtags in Coeur d'Alene or in regards to your industry, you can find a lot of fun accounts and then just commenting, interacting on those that you want to be a part of as well. So it's not just a marketing tactic. It's not just, posting an emoji. It does take time and energy to build relationships, and commenting and interacting with other people who you might want to collaborate with in the future is definitely a good opportunity there. Nurture is kind of the same thing, but with Instagram, I use stories a lot. A lot of our customers are watching the stories, and then I'll, post on our feed as well. I haven't done Reels. That's one that seems like it's going to take some work for me to get into that. But yeah, so there's Reels, so that's the fun video, kind of like TikTok. And then there's guides. So I think the guides I'm going to be looking into, that one seems a little bit easier to tap into. So there's just different features and different things that I can think about, like what does my customer want to see? What is engaging and entertaining and fun, educational? Like how can I show up in front of them and give value and build that relationship? So, you can use those things and experiment as you go. And then retaining is pretty much the same thing. With Instagram, you're not able to link to your blog or just from a post or through stories. You're not able to add links, but you are able to have one link in your bio. So that can just go to your website or to whatever you're talking about. Or there's also like Linktree is a separate platform that helps list out multiple things. So it's really your strategy that kind of comes into play with that one. But we just have our shopping cart linked to that. Okay, let's break. Break for questions.
Okay, great. We do have some questions. So I think that you answered that question about how important Instagram is. And what I really heard you say is that you need to know your customer and where your customer is so that you're meeting them where they're looking for information and where they want to connect with you.
Yeah, and honestly, I think people are on both platforms now. It used to just be like the younger demographic that was on Instagram, but I think everybody is pretty well spread out between Instagram and Facebook. And we have different people interacting on both platforms. So there are audiences on both that we're reaching in different ways. So it's not like your audience is not on Instagram. There's just probably a little different audience over there as well, so you can reach more people.
Okay, great. So Lauren asks a question, can your content for Instagram and Facebook be the same, or does it need to be a different message on each?
No, it can be the same. It's hard to do different all the time. I think it's important to utilize the different tools. So like on Instagram, when you're putting a feed together, you can have multiple pictures and a video, all that you swipe through. Whereas Facebook, you can only do a bunch of pictures. You can't do pictures and video in one post. So in that case, it's like, well, should I do the photos or should I do the video? Because you want the biggest bang for the one post. So there's different strategies using the same content, using a little bit different picture, the same words. But, with one person who is following you on both platforms, I thought it would be annoying to see the same content on both platforms, but yeah, it kind of is. But it's also reiterating. They're seeing it again. Maybe it's like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll read it this time, or maybe I'll click through this time. So when people see your content multiple times, it just reinforces your brand, it reinforces your message and what you're doing. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have the same content on both. I do try to change it up and keep it different sometimes, because they have different elements that you want to take advantage of.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we have another question. Do you have any experience with the new social media sites that are kind of a response to Facebook and Instagram?
Like which one?
maybe Mindy, you could be more specific if you want to follow up on that question, because I'm not sure exactly which ones that she is referring to as well. So I'll wait
Yeah.
and see if that comes in. Um, Another question is, will it hurt my business not to have a social media presence?
I don't think it will hurt. I think social media is an opportunity to help you grow. So I don't know, it's like, okay, well, I want to grow. I want to be in front of people. I want to continue sharing my story and grabbing their attention for them to drive back and purchase from me. Social media is an opportunity. So if you don't have social media and you're putting all of your energy into, just being at the farmer's market and being, it's like you can still have a business without social media. It's not like your business is going to be nil if you're not on social. It's just an opportunity and a growth strategy.
Great. So again, that's probably coming back to that idea of who's your customer and how are they going to find you and how are you going to build and retain that relationship. So if you're not on social media, how are you keeping their attention versus somebody else keeping their attention?
Yep, definitely. I like that.
Okay, another question is about how much time do you spend on social media a week?
I know. I feel like I've gotten that question a couple times, and it's always so hard because I am really bad at tracking like my time. So for social media, for the business, I think that's always the business topic. I am not on there for the business too much. So we plan out the week. Well, we plan out the month. We have our content calendar. So we plan out the month. We know what beers are coming on. I know I'm going to be talking about like my seeds that I'm buying. Oh, we got new chicks. So I have things mapped out about what I want to be talking about that month. And then each week I'll then take pictures. So I think it's more of like how much time do I spend on the whole planning thing. So it's an hour of planning the whole month, and then maybe 30 minutes to an hour taking pictures each week and getting them edited and so forth and uploaded, and then posting and doing a comment on that takes 15 minutes, and then on another platform, and then maybe I want to do a story on here. So it's kind of that whole thing. But yeah, I don't spend a whole lot of time on there for the business.
Thanks, Emily. I love that you brought up that you do this monthly plan. And so you know where you're going, because I personally find that it's hard on my project sites to think in the moment of what should I have. So I love having that monthly plan. Lena asks, how do you attract people to your social media site?
Yeah, so that is back to this attract. So using the hashtags. So I use like hashtag Coeur d'Alene, Rathdrum, Idaho, I think, and Spirit Lake, so Sandpoint, so some different like locations. So I'm coming up in location hashtags. I'm also doing the collaboration. So we did a collaboration with some other vendors from the farmers market. We made a box and we all kind of advertised on our social media for each other and tagged each other and everything. So we got in front of everybody else's audiences. So I think that's a huge one, is just collaborating with other vendors that have the similar audience as you. And then advertising. So just doing an advertisement to come to our farm stands, and then getting that to our local area of beer drinkers and so forth. So you can do some targeted advertising on social media. So those are kind of the top ones. And then on Facebook, getting into the local food groups. So there's like 5 different groups that are either associated with food or buying local that I'm in. And so I pop in there and comment on people who are like, oh, where do I get eggs? Oh, what's new in the area? And I'll do the little promotion there. But yeah, commenting, giving value, and then posting if we have something fun going on. So that's kind of the attract stuff. That's how you can get in front of new audiences with social media.
And I've noticed with Facebook that even, targeted ads can be very inexpensive. Like $10 to $30 can create a huge increase in the number of people that are following your Facebook page. So just periodically thinking about those small targeted investments can go a long ways for more people than to be regularly seeing information about what you're doing in their feed.
Yeah, in some cases you can just do like $1 a day, and that will get your reach out there, your exposure, and more people on your email list, so you can keep building that relationship once your Facebook ad is over. So that's always kind of the stage. It's like you want to attract people, and then you want to get their information so you can keep that relationship going. If Facebook crashes, if your website is no longer there, like what stuff do you have control over? And that email list is a big one. So you do have that opportunity to keep the conversation going after.
Going back to the question about the new social media sites, there weren't necessarily things in particular that were, but we are, I think, maybe largely in the political arena, hearing about new social media sites that are coming up that different segments of people are utilizing, and that might be investigating whether or not those are things that are valuable to your customers to make a decision about how those are being used and what it is you're comfortable having your business be associated with if it is a site that is used for some type of certain other purpose in a large way, like a political site. And then Maureen
Yeah,
adds
exactly. Mm-hmm.
about something I haven't heard about that is Mewe, M-E-W-E, or MeWe, maybe?
Mm-hmm. I've heard about it, but I haven't actually used it. So it's nothing that my customers are asking, oh, why aren't you over here? Like, nobody's brought it up. So it's not something that I'm going to spend my time on. So the things that I spend my time on are high impact. A lot of people are there. I'm going to be reaching the right people. MeWe, I don't know. Maybe that's exactly where your customers are again. But I've also heard like there's Alignable and Nextdoor. Like there's different platforms where there's like a community and social things happening. And maybe Nextdoor is a huge opportunity to connect with your neighborhood and getting them into your door. So think about your customers, what information they're looking for, where they're hanging out, and get in front of them.
And then I think a last question before we move on with your presentation is, and this is, what are your thoughts about farm marketing website hosting like Barn Door?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely services out there that support and help you. I don't know too much about Barn Door. I also am a control freak, and I like to have my own platform. Like your website is your platform. You can control everything. If Barn Door goes belly up, you still have your platform. You still have your customer contact information. You still have your storefront where you can be selling all of your products. So, however, if you are somebody who's not going to put a website together, you are not going to maintain it, you are not going to do it, then Barn to Door is a great opportunity because somebody else is going to be doing it for you, I think. I think that's what their model is. So I don't know. I don't have a good recommendation whether or not to do it, but there's different opportunities out there for you. You do have to pay for those, pay in your time for your own platforms or pay somebody else to manage those platforms.
Yes. And one of the things that I've noticed, for instance, on Local Harvest, which is a free platform, is that it requires making sure that you update your listing. And so it's not really a static environment. And so if that's not something that's on your radar to keep going in and interacting, it's going to be less effective.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to hold the last two questions until our next Q&A. So
Okay, sounds good. And I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, I think, because the time is just flying by here. But, okay, so here we go. Third-party website. So this kind of goes back probably to maybe the barn-to-door option. But what I'm talking about with the third-party websites are kind of those free local platforms that your customers who are wanting local food are looking for, and they're finding these other platforms. How can you be in front of them and make sure that they're seeing you when they're searching for local food? So I have a handful that I have used or support, and they're kind of local to the North Idaho. Local Harvest is actually very large scope across the country, but I really like their platform. They come up in a lot of the Google searches that I've done, so their SEO is really good. So when you're searching local, they typically will be coming up. So that's a good indicator that they have a strong back end, and they're going to support me and my time putting my stuff up there. So you are able to create a free account. You can put up the products that you're offering and who you are. You can link to your website, I think your social media platforms, your email, so people can contact you once they have found you on this Local Harvest. And they also have a review option. So this is kind of nice. It gives you additional credibility. That's something that we do on Facebook. On Facebook, there's a review option, so that helps our credibility. So if you can get people to give you some 5 stars, that's always a good thing. So check out Local Harvest, free at just getting your name out there in front of new people. Then there's the Panhandle Farm Corridor. So if you have a farm stand in Shoshone County, Kootenai, or Bonner County, you can join the Panhandle Farm Corridor. I think it's like a $75 membership fee, and then you are part of the corridor. So it's kind of like a green bluff, but over here in North Idaho, and they have the map on their website. They're doing brochures and getting them throughout the community. And doing some different PR stuff. So it's a really good organization to be a part of if you have a farm stand and you're wanting to sell off of the farm. And then there is Be Local. So that's up in Boundary County, and that's like an online farmers market, I believe. So they have a platform where you can sell your products on their platform, and then it's a nice hub of a lot of different local goods, so you are able to kind of be in front of other people's audiences. So definitely think through that if you're up in that area. And then I know this is linked from Palouse Clearwater Food Coalition and then the Idaho Food Work. So I think it's linked in a bunch of different places, but I found it through the Palouse Clearwater Food Coalition. And you can get listed on this platform that they have. I think it's the U of I extension put this platform together, the Taste of Idaho, and they have all of the farms in North Idaho posted on there, and then some community gardens and local food banks and other kind of local food kind of information. So just make sure that you're listed on there, because they are doing a great job of sharing information and to the public on how they can buy local, and you want to be showing up where you can. So I'm sure you can talk to Colette if you're not on that list yet. But yeah, so just thinking about like what platforms can you be on that are going to be showing up in front of the customers who are looking for local food. And then this is another thing, like if you are searching on Google, what comes up? Are there different blogs on, visiting Coeur d'Alene, places to check out? Like how can you be on the places to check out? Can you be a part of your local chamber and so forth? So just how are you going to get in front of other people's audiences to attract them and get them into your website to nurture, and then social media to follow you and nurture and so forth. So the third-party websites are really a good kind of attract strategy. Okay, so maybe I'll just finish here, and then we'll do kind of the final questions.
Okay, that's
because
great.
people might business is the last, and it's just kind of short and sweet. And this one is huge for any location, any local business. Google My Business is such a powerful platform. So you actually create your own account, Google My Business account, and you have to set it up, and they have to approve you and all that good stuff. But you're not required to have a website or social media. And if you sign up and they approve you and somebody looks for a farm near me, you pop up. So this is like huge. It seems like such a small thing, but when somebody is Googling and there's over 5.5 billion searches per day, I mean, this is the platform people are going to. This is where a huge opportunity is for you, because farms near me, you pick near me, local farm near me, like people are searching locally, and Google My Business is the huge like pop-up that comes up. So it's a huge opportunity. Definitely it's free. It's something that you can do just with a little bit of your time. And if you have a farm stand or you do have a location where people can come to, you can add your hours, you can add, all the different products that you're offering. It's definitely a huge opportunity to be online. Somebody's searching and boom, you're right in front of them. So that is it. So I'm Lone Mountain Farms. Let me just do this and then we'll do some questions. We do beer, we do produce, we do eggs, we do flour. We have a farm stand and we're open year round, Friday and Saturday. So if you're in our area, I would love for you to stop by and say hello. And then I also help other farmers in their business strategy with cultivatingyourmarket.com. And I want to help you get organized and streamlined and growing your farm. This usually starts out as such a hobby and passion project that converting it to the full income, the livelihood is sometimes not as easy to do. So I want to help you get into this as a full-time business where you are growing and sustaining your lifestyle. So if you are in the beginning stages or in the growing stages and you're not sure which direction to take, or whether you're pricing things reasonably, if you're making enough money to actually live off of, I want to help you out. So I have different resources on my website, or if you just want to talk through things, I'm happy. Anybody who signed up for this webinar, I'm happy to do just a free 1 hour call, and we can chat through where you're at, where you want to go, and how we can get you there. So email me at emily@cultivatingyourmarket.com if you want to talk through any business strategy stuff. And I'm in your corner. I think being a farmer and being a business person is kind of lonely sometimes. And what decision should I make next is hard. So if you need to talk something out and see what kind of direction might make the most sense, just definitely email me and we can figure out a time to get on the phone and chat. So that's about me, but yeah, let's get back to those questions and anything about the third-party site or Google My Business. And I also brought up my site and Google My Business and social, so I can go through my stuff after these questions just to show you a little bit more.
Okay, great. So those of you that have a little more time, we would love for you to be able to stay on for this Q&A and show of Emily's sites. If you need to get off, just know that this is being recorded and that you'll receive a link tomorrow to the recording, and then you could jump back on whenever it's convenient for you to look at the last few minutes. Okay, so a couple more questions came in, and I think one is right along with this SEO and visibility. So how important are social media usernames, and how important for a following is it to have farm in the title? If this person doesn't have farm, is she missing out?
Not necessarily. So I think that's a pretty deep question. And there's some different strategies to go through that. With your social media handles, you know, people typically aren't on social media searching for local farm. They usually go to Google. If there's a map, it's going to bring up the local farms. Social is not typically where people are searching, where farm is that important, especially with Facebook. Facebook searching is clunky and gross. Instagram, however, that one you might want to consider. I'm gonna get into my website and start sharing that screen. So just give me 1 second. And I'm going to move over to the website. Okay. So I'm going to actually get into our Instagram. Okay, so with Instagram, our handle, yes, it has farms in it. However, this portion is searchable. So if you are able to put any search term that you want in this title, that's going to be good. And they have just opened up more search. So I believe before it was only your handle and then only your title here. But I believe they've opened up more search where it's actually grabbing your description now too. So that is something to consider. Maybe add farm here or add farm early in your description.
Great, thank you. So another question is, do you sell on Facebook Marketplace?
I don't. I feel like on Marketplace, alcohol is definitely a no-no for a lot of Facebook things. So the beer is more of just like, hey, come out to the farm stand, go to the website. And then our other products are more, we price them a little bit higher than the typical marketplace price. So there's a lot of competition for eggs, and our price point is too high for that kind of competition. So we draw people to the farm stand, or we have an egg subscription to sell out of those. I think as long as your pricing or your product is not saturated on Marketplace, I think it's a good opportunity. I think that there's a lot of different strategies that Facebook is really trying to be kind of the Craigslist and sales spot. So definitely try it out and test it and see if make sure you have good images, make sure you have good descriptions, and then, yeah, try it out. I think that's a good option.
Thanks, Emily. So what % of your customers actually come to your farm to buy your products?
Well, percentage-wise, I don't have like a percentage of how many people we reach versus how many actually come through the door. We see about, I don't know, 30 people a week that come through the door, and that's, you know, usually groups of 2 or 4 that come through. So that's kind of where we're at right now in the winter time.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably really seasonal in that more people are most likely going to be out going to farm stands and venues when the weather's warmer versus in the
Hmm.
winter. Yeah,
Yeah, January is typically the slowest month.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, one more question. Does Kootenai County have something like Be Local?
No,
No, I
we
do
do not.
think that's one reason why we took the Taste of Home to be a North Idaho focus is because Be Local was limited to a county. And so just for those of you that are on today, myself and Mackenzie, we are the ones that manage the Taste of Home directory. So you can contact us to be listed. And the way that works is that we actually list to your website and social media. So you do need to have an online presence in, or you could be in Local Harvest and we would link to you in Local Harvest. And that way your listing with us stays fresh because it's being updated by the things that you regularly update versus giving you another platform that you have to update the information. So if you want to learn more, you
Hmm.
can just contact myself and I'd be happy to help you, as would Mackenzie. So let's take a look at those other sites before we wrap up today, Emily.
Okay, well, since we just talked about yours, I just wanted to show people the website here, and it's under local food and local food directory. And it'll open up a different platform, and you can kind of get on there and see what, if you're on there or not. So they do a really good job. It's all throughout North Idaho here. And then you can zoom in and see if you're on there or not. So check it out. Oh, and then, yeah, I'm going to be contacting you because I need to be on the artisan beverages as well.
Excellent.
Okay. Take notes. Okay. So our website. Okay, so I talked about 2 different platforms, Wix and Square. So we started out with Square. Square does a great job. It's very plug and play. It's very easy. They have a couple different like template things to start out with. So this is Square. This is our shopping cart. We started with Square to do our online shopping when COVID hit. We're like, we got to get online. We got to get our delivery going because nobody can leave their house. So we got onto this and started our delivery app, and it worked really well. And then I was like, okay, well, I want something more custom. I want something, I don't know, just a little bit different than the plug and play. So I went over to Wix and I created our main site over here. So it's a good navigation, easy navigation across the top. The main call to actions are what we want people to do. So we want people to come out to the farm stand, we're open, and then we want to have them order online for delivery and pickup. So that's what they see right away. And then our farm story, lots of pretty pictures so they can connect with what's going on, where they can find us. And then we get into a lot of detail over the farm craft beer, the produce, the eggs, and the flour. And then we get into kind of that next call to action of connect with us and give us your email address, and so forth. So I tried to bring our shopping cart over to Wix and create a new shopping cart so we were just on one platform. But our customers said that it was clunky. They weren't able to purchase as easily. It didn't really work very well for them. So I'm like, heck, I'm not going to go through another template and try to figure this out. It worked over on Square or on Square. Let's just do that. So our shop button up here in our header links over to our shopping cart. So it just opens up a new tab so people can bump over here. They can place their order, figure out the details for delivery or pickup, and then order. And then across the top, we have our eggs and our flour. So we do have those different sections for the different things here. And then a little detail if they want to know a little bit more. So that's our website. We use Wix and we use Square. Square with the shopping cart integration keeps all of the inventory and sales numbers, like everything's in one spot. And that's been huge just with organization and making sure I don't have to spend too much time figuring out the numbers. And then social media, we're on Instagram, so follow us at Lone Mountain Farms. We link over to our shop, so we can have people order online. For our description, we keep it simple, like who we are, what we offer, and how they can get it. Our topics, like I mentioned, were the beer, so we have lots of pictures of beer. Our chickens, we don't have much produce happening right now, so there's not a whole lot of that. But yeah, we kind of talk about the whole journey. There's cucumber, there we go, got some grain happening, some garlic. We just opened a patio and a pint service. So yeah, we're just taking everybody along the journey with us and posting what inspires us and hopefully inspires our customers to come out and buy. So a lot of these pictures that I'm using over here will translate over onto our page over here. However, I decided just to do a video instead of the combo, like I mentioned earlier. So this one has the picture and it has the video. So another little tip for Instagram, have two pictures because Instagram will show the second one as a cycle, as the next cycle to your users, and it kind of looks like new content without being new. So pro tip, have multiple images per post. And yeah, so Facebook, again, this is a great thing for location. We can save our hours when we're open, how to reach us. Here's our website, and then there's some different reviews on here as well. So you are able to kind of get a little bit of that social proof, get some feedback from customers for that. And then we post events on Facebook. So that's another opportunity because when somebody attends or is interested in an event, that shows up to their friends and family as well. So that's another reach tactic. So yeah, and then we try to have the same icon for all of the social media platforms just to keep a good visual across and the same name. All right, so Google My Business. I just typed in farm near me, and near me is Lone Mountain Farm, since that's where I'm at. So this is also awesome. You get the review, it gives your location, it gives your open hours. So let's click on Lone Mountain Farm. And oh, here's a huge pop-up. So this is going to be the pop-up, the information that you decide to put in here. So we have our website, the directions, people can call us. We have our products in here so people can see products. And then we also have different posts and pictures so people can get a good feel of the place before they even come. So kind of welcoming them with, you know, all of the things farmy. And then, yeah, then it's just awesome to see reviews and pictures from other people. So that's been really fun. So I would say Google My Business. You can do that today. Look into building your website or updating it if you need to. And then put a social media plan together to kind of check out that, like the plan of what you want to post. I'm just going to get onto my website, Cultivating Your Market, here for a second. So on my website, if you just click on those free lines up top, you can click on free resources. And one of them is keep your brand top of mind with this one system. And that talks about my content calendar and how I kind of map things out for the month, what I talk about, how I structure getting all of the content and so forth. So you can download a content calendar from there if you want to do that. So, okay, any other questions that came in, Colette?
Okay, this will be the last question. And do you have any tips for logos?
Yeah. Okay, so if you're like just starting out, you just need to get something up there. I say you can just go like use Canva. So canva.com is a like a free graphic design platform. So I would recommend going through them. They have different templates for logos. You can play with stuff and just start. Just put a logo out there. And then once you get some of your branding kind of figured out, then go talk to a professional. I think a logo can change throughout the entire business journey that you're in. So you're not stuck with one the entire time. You can change it as your business evolves. But I think professionals I got a professional to do this one, the Emily Black, and and all of my vision, I could not put this together. I put a Pinterest board together of all of my inspirations and said, hey, here you go. You make it like look pretty and figure it out. And she did an amazing job. So yeah, just use a professional if you have your ideas and you know the direction that you're going. Otherwise, you can start with canva.com and just get something together and just take the next step.
Thank you, Emily. This has been an amazing webinar. We really appreciate your sharing your expertise and your farm story. All these examples are beautiful, and we're really excited to have you as a resource for other farmers. And your offer of that hour of consulting is incredibly generous. And so I do hope some people on today's webinar take you up on that offer. So I'm going to just let people know what is up next. So we thank Emily for this great presentation. We have been focused on planning your market essentially in January, and now we're going to be moving into our February webinar theme, which is digging into soils and compost. So next week, we're going to be having a presentation on managing and monitoring soil fertility. This is going to be more of an advanced look at soil fertility. So I really hope that you join us. We will have an expert from Washington State University that is sharing that, who has done a lot of research on organic small farms. So please join us next week. You can register here at this Cultivating Success webinar series link. And then give us your feedback. Automatically, you're going to get a link in your browser that is going to open a survey to evaluate today's webinar. I know that Emily would love to hear from you about this presentation, how useful it was to you, and what else you'd be interested in learning about. You also will receive this link in an email tomorrow, again with the link to the webinar recording. So we do have all of our webinars on the Cultivating Success website from this season and previous seasons. So again, thank you for joining us, Emily. Thanks to all that were on today and stayed on for an extra few minutes. This was an amazing presentation, and I know that I learned a lot that's going to help in my small farms program areas. So I'm super excited about this. So thanks to everyone, and have a really great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.